cop, a handcuff, a quiet woman who said nothing until the truth made every man in the room silent. The afternoon sun hung heavy over the small southern town, pressing its golden weight onto every rooftop and sidewalk. The air shimmered like glass, bending the horizon in waves of heat. Cicadas hummed lazily from the trees, their steady rhythm blending with the distant sound of a lawnmower. Life moved slowly here. People hid beneath wide-brimmed hats, waved fans in front of tired faces, and waited for the mercy of evening. Naomi Carter walked along the cracked pavement, her cream blouse clinging lightly to her skin, the color glowing softly against her deep brown complexion. She carried a stack of folders tucked under one arm, notes from her afternoon at the community center, and a reusable coffee cup half filled with warm water. Her steps were steady, purposeful. She looked like a woman who had long learned the art of composure. Yet, beneath the gentle hum of the day, there was a strange stillness, a silence that didn't belong. Even the air seemed to pause as Naomi crossed the intersection, her eyes catching the faint reflection of a patrol car parked ahead. The sunlight glinted off its mirror. For a moment, everything felt too quiet, the kind of quiet that comes right before something breaks. The low rumble of the police cruiser broke the afternoon calm. Naomi slowed her steps as the vehicle rolled up beside her, dust curling around its tires. The driver's door swung open, and out stepped Officer Blake, tall, broad-shouldered, his mirrored sunglasses hiding whatever lived behind his eyes. "Ma'am," he barked, his tone slicing through the air. "Mind telling me what you're doing around here?" Naomi blinked, surprised but steady. "Just walking home from the community center," she replied, lifting the folders in her hand. "I lead a local program." "Uh-huh," he interrupted, circling her like a shadow. "We had a theft report nearby. You fit the description." Her eyebrows lifted slightly. "The description?" she echoed, her voice calm, though a tightness had begun to rise in her chest. "Sir, these are policy notes, not stolen goods." But reason meant little beneath the weight of assumption. Without warning, he reached for his cuffs. The metallic click echoed down the empty street. Neighbors peeked from porches, whispers rippling like wind through leaves. The sun burned hotter. Naomi felt the sting, not from the metal, but from the humiliation. Still, her voice was unshaken when she met his gaze. "You'll regret this, officer," she said quietly. "Maybe not today, but soon." The station buzzed with the dull rhythm of routine, the hum of fluorescent lights, the shuffle of papers, the muted voices of officers who had seen too much and questioned too little. But when Naomi Carter was led inside, still cuffed and silent, something in the air shifted. Conversations faltered. Eyes followed her, curious at first, then uneasy. At the booking desk, Officer Blake filled out paperwork with deliberate indifference. Naomi said nothing, her calm unsettling him more than anger ever could. An officer at the next desk leaned over, whispering, "You might want to check her ID again." Blake shot him a glare. "I know how to do my job," he muttered, snatching up her driver's license. But as his eyes scanned the card, the color drained from his face. The letters blurred for a moment before coming into terrible focus. Dr. Naomi Carter, Deputy Director, U.S. Department of Justice, Civil Rights Division. The room stilled. The clock ticked loudly in the silence. Naomi watched him, her gaze steady, almost compassionate. Beads of sweat gathered at Blake's temple. The authority in his posture faltered, replaced by something raw, disbelief, then fear. His badge suddenly felt heavier, his uniform tighter. In that instant, he realized he hadn't just arrested a woman. He had arrested accountability itself. Naomi sat in the small processing room, her wrists still red from the cuffs. The tension was thick enough to taste, a silence stretched so taut it could snap. When she finally spoke, her voice was steady, low, and deliberate. "I'd like to make a phone call," she said. Blake hesitated, but something in her tone, that calm certainty, made him nod. Within minutes, the door burst open. The chief of police strode in, his face pale, his eyes darting from Naomi to Blake and back again. "Dr. Carter," he stammered, we didn't realize." Naomi stood, smoothing the wrinkles from her blouse with quiet dignity. "No, I imagine you didn't," she replied softly. She reached for her folder, opened it with precision, and pulled out a single official document stamped with the seal of the Department of Justice. "Officer Blake," she said, her tone even almost gentle. "As of this moment, you are suspended pending investigation. I'll be taking over your unit's internal review." The words struck like thunder. Blake's mouth opened, then closed again, powerless. Around him, officers shifted uneasily, eyes downcast, shame flickering across their faces. In that moment, the room no longer belonged to him. It belonged to her, to justice itself. The sun was dipping low when Naomi finally stepped out of the station. The once blinding light had softened into gold, painting the cracked sidewalks with a gentle glow. The air smelled of cut grass and dust, and somewhere nearby, children laughed, their voices bright, innocent, untouched by the weight of the world. Naomi paused to watch them, their joy unbroken, their freedom unafraid. It was a simple, beautiful reminder of why she did what she did. She should have felt anger, humiliation even, but she didn't. What filled her instead was resolve, calm and unshakable. The day's injustice had not weakened her. It had sharpened her purpose. Later, in the quiet of her hotel room, she opened her report and began to write. Her words carried no bitterness, only truth. She wrote not only of misconduct, but of empathy, of the urgent need to teach officers to see people before color, to act with conscience before command. As she closed her folder, the last light of day brushed her face. Standing by the window, she whispered to herself, almost like a prayer. "Justice isn't about who holds the badge," she said softly. "It's about who holds their humanity. True power is not found in a uniform, a title, or authority. It's found in character. Those who use power to oppress will always fall before those who carry justice with grace."